All right, everybody. Hey, this is John. Welcome to today's video. Huge rally today, obviously up 3% almost in the SPX and the Nasdaq. And so we just kind of want to take a look at kind of where we are and all the fun things. So one of the first things I always like to look at are kind of the cycle dates. We did have a cycle date for kind of a sell-off into kind of the third week of March-ish. And, we got there and we kept on going. I always say like 76% of the time, all these cycle stuff, works 100% of the time, but it gives you kind of a ballpark. And we did obviously get a huge bounce today. The cycles call for an intermediate low in April 6th through 9th. So I read that as maybe we get a little bit more upside. Possibly we could test that 200. That's the 200 SMA right there on the daily. And then I would look for another sell-off, and then we'll see. I'm not looking for any March to new all-time highs or anything like that anytime soon. Overall, looking at kind of May-ish for a hot bottom, as they say in Boston. But right now, it's a trading market. Remember this kind of purple wall of death. Any rallies into it are sellable. And so anyway, today was a great rally. It's one of those things where you got to be really careful shorting at like -3 ATR. So that's the 21 EMA, and then you got Keltner channels, 1 ATR, 2 ATR, 3 ATR. Anytime you're at -3 ATR, if you're shorting there, I mean, good luck. From there, you typically get the biggest rip your face off rebounds. And so just kind of keep that in mind. And if you're going to short, consider up here at the 21 EMA. Super, super, super fun trading day, of course. This is the kind of volatility we like very much. If we look at the NDX, very similar. Also back here to the 8 EMA. Pretty fantastic 786 point day. That's not going to help us right there, is it? But again, it's just to the falling kind of 8 EMA. So what I want to do here now is just kind of take a look at the Mag 7-ish and just kind of, okay, stop. I always love it when Toss does this. Now stay there, lock in place. Tesla had a solid day today. And again, just moving with the indexes. You can see we got up to the 8 EMA, right into kind of the purple wall of death. Much needed kind of a relief bounce, but not anything interesting in terms of a breakout. We'll talk about what a potential breakout kind of looks like. Meta, same thing. Great move today, of course, but we're back to the falling 8 EMA. Microsoft, yeah, I mean, it was a 3% move, but my God, from the highs, this thing is sucking wind, to say the least. Nvidia, great move. You can see it's a much closer to that 200 SMA. And this is one of the things we want to look at here in stocks is that, the indexes are comfortably below the 200 SMA. So if you're interested in the long side of stocks, look at stocks that are above the 200 SMA. That tells you a lot. Nvidia is a little bit below it, kind of in the middle ground there. But then let's take a look at, say, Google, which has been comfortably holding it. So Google continues to be a leader in the Mag 7. And if you're looking at like exposure to Mag 7 here, the best one right now is going to be Google, followed closely by Apple, which is also holding the 200 SMA. I don't know if I mentioned this on the last video, but I ordered a Mac Mini. Of course, as anybody who's been following AI is doing, is setting up your kind of at-home server for Claude Cowork and all that kind of fun stuff. 60-day back order. So I kind of wonder, it's like with Claude Cowork and the explosion of interest there, that might be a really interesting thing on their next earnings. Maybe it's not enough to move the needle because, obviously they're also selling 50 million iPhones and stuff like that too. But I thought that was interesting that Apple's infrastructure is kind of now set up to accidentally become the front page of AI as non-coders and things like that start to use it. I first set up Claude Desktop on Windows, and I learned very painfully why that was a bad idea. And of course, have now moved on to Mac to do all that stuff. For any of you that are doing that, I know some of you are very heavy into it, and some of you are like, what's AI? But obviously, it's a huge thing here as we move beyond chatbots. And then Amazon too, okay, but below the 200 SMA. Now, Micron Technologies, I like to include in this. It's not officially a Mag 7, but it's moving a lot. Got whacked pretty hard. And of course, a lot of this was the market, and a lot of this was, this thing rallied a hell of a lot. And it's normal to kind of shake this off a little bit. Remember, when you see something like this, that's just a statement that it's paying now for valuations it expects in the future, and the valuation it expects in the future are going to be based on earnings and forward-looking earnings that they have. And so they had great earnings, and the forward-looking was great as well, but there was just a little bit of signs that maybe they're rate of growth is slowing, and that's the death knell for no momentum stock. Doesn't mean that anything's wrong with the company or anything like that. It's just that, when Nvidia grew 10x over the course of like 18 months, at some point it reached a fair valuation and stopped going up. And so Micron is experiencing the same thing. That's perfectly normal. AVGO, very similar. Look at this, back to the 8 EMA. That's kind of a theme we're seeing. PLTR, back to the 8 EMA. And then Oracle, the poster child of AI death, also back to the 8 EMA, but also well below its 200 SMA. And so when we look at stuff like this, then we would just kind of, let's look at a couple of other stocks here. What are other sectors doing and things like that? MasterCard, again, kind of moving with the market. If we look at something like McDonald's, holding its own, hanging out there. Nothing special or anything like that, but not the same volatility that we've seen in some of the other stocks. And then remember too, if we look at software, software stocks are just getting destroyed by the ability for people to kind of do their own thing with AI, Claude Cowork and GPT Codex and all that kind of stuff. And so this has just been kind of more of the norm in that kind of an area. What also gets interesting here is that when you start looking at, there are some stocks out there that don't care what's going on here. And I think those are always the interesting ones. Typically, these are smaller companies, but this is one where we've been watching. We've had scans on the Squeeze Ultra. We'll have more on that out here in the near future, where we scan and we look for ideal entries. And then we look for a continuation, in this case, of the uptrend, regardless of what the indexes are doing. And so that's kind of nice. Today it had even when the markets were falling apart, it still holds its 55 period SMA. All the fun things here, and now is poised for possibly new highs to go to the 1272 extension. So that one's pretty interesting. And then another one here, and again, not necessarily the exciting Micron technology type stocks, but the kind that, at least don't give you a lot of headaches in a market like this. You can see Squeeze Ultra setting up here. We got the beautiful entry, nice little pop here. We'll see if this is something that carries it to kind of new swing highs here, but otherwise, on a day when a lot of stocks are rallying to their 8 EMA, which has fallen below the 200 SMA, a stock like this is kind of nice and doesn't give you a lot of headaches in this type of situation. Speaking of stocks that also give you headaches, besides Zscaler, Reddit, another one here. A little surprising that because I wouldn't consider them a software stock, more just they're kind of at the forefront of AI pulling and stuff like that too. They mean to renegotiate some of their contracts. Hood, same thing, of course, kind of hurt with the crypto. And let's talk crypto for a second. So the idea is is Bitcoin, going to be at 68,000 forever? Is it going to make new highs? Everything I'm looking at, again, going back to the cycles, is that, sometime in May, mid-May, maybe end of May, we're looking at a very good possibility for kind of a hard bottom in the crypto sector, and we may see a rally from there. A lot of that has to do with money flows and all the kind of fun things. I'll have a bigger picture outlook update here in the near future, but that's what I'm looking at there for Bitcoin. And then if we look at something like, say, bonds, in terms of interest rates and stuff like that, bonds came down pretty hard. That as a reflection of interest rates going higher. Have had a nice little bounce here. Kind of see how that sets up. And then of course, the commodity right now that's front and center is crude oil. And crude oil today was up near 107, and then fell, hey, let's try to end the war, kind of thing. But ultimately, we're still hanging out up here. And just think of any inflationary data typically, has about a 30 to 60 day lag time. So what we're seeing now, we're going to see show up in, CPI in May. And so there's no way that we're going to see CPI levels coming down with energy rates this high, although they might be offset a little bit by housing, because housing has been coming down quite a bit. So it kind of keeps the whole conundrum going just to keep things interesting. And same thing with gold. Gold right now, a lot of questions like, gosh, why, gold was so strong, and then when the war broke out, it fell. Well, gold's main reaction right now is to interest rates. And if interest rates are going to get lowered, gold's going to rally. But if there's it's not showing signs of that, then gold's going to ease off a bit. And that's what is happening there. From there, the question is now, what about April 1st? The first quarter is over. ended on a bang, window dressing, all the things. The JP Morgan caller, for those of you that follow that, was at 64.75, and we blew through that, quote unquote, miraculously. So there was no calls or anything, no, well, it wouldn't be a margin call in JP Morgan, but no losses or anything like that there. And so the question is, what happens in the first couple days of April? We could easily, of course, tomorrow be down 200 S&P points, but I think we're going to see a little follow through before we need another sell-off. That could be famous last words, but that's what I'm looking for tomorrow. All right, you guys and gals, have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll see you at the next update.